Hey guys, Bart from TST Industries here. In this video, I have the pleasure of introducing to you the new TST Industries integrated taillight for Yamaha FZ09. Now, Yamaha outfitted the OEM unit on this bike looking like this. Everybody thought it was an afterthought to the styling of this bike because you have this sexy, curvaceous, dancing lady and then a cinder block, right? I don't know what they were thinking. Most people don't like it. Some other companies actually have come up with reproduction units that look vastly different than the OEM setup, and we thought we could shine in that regard as well because we design everything in-house and we prototype everything in-house. We have really radical concepts when it comes to these types of projects. So, sat down and designed this unit. It is a direct replacement and it fits directly in the holes left behind by the OEM unit. It is plug and play. It looks great. It changes the entire tail of the bike. It makes the continuation of the body lines of the bike come through right into the taillight, and it has this great ducted design. 66 LEDs on board. It is very bright. It has the signals integrated into the capsule. It is a really nice addition to this elegant bike. I'm gonna walk you through the installation. It's very, very simple. It's probably the easiest taillight that we've ever designed as far as installation goes. So you guys can watch the steps, follow along, and I hope you enjoy this video. Let's get started. So before we begin, we're gonna have to make a choice whether we're gonna go with the clear or smoked lens. For this particular bike, we will go with the smoke because it already has smoke signals installed on the front. So, first step will be to remove the seat. That is done by accessing the keyhole on the bottom and just pulling up on the seat. We'll put that to the side and we will proceed to the removal of our OEM taillight. Now this is done with a 4mm Allen, 2 screws right here behind the enclosure of your OEM taillight. Once you crack them loose, they just come out really easy. All right. Now the taillight is held only by its plug here. So I'm going to grab a small flathead and press down on the lock inside this plug here. You can see there's a little window on this plug, and there's a ratcheting lock. Press down on it and pull back, this will come out. This is the ratcheting lock I was talking about. Press down on it, releases the tail light. Now in addition, we'll need to remove these sleeves from the rubber grommets, these shoulder washers or sleeves that are pressed in from the inside of the bike. The rubber grommets stay, but the shoulder washers need to come out. Once we have all that out, we'll put these parts to the side and move on. Okay, so now we'll need to install TST Industries taillight back on the bike. First step, we'll need to make sure that this void here on the bottom of our new taillight receives this tongue feature that exists here that will center portion of the undertail. And then these bosses will need to slide into the holes in the rubber grommets here. Before we do that, we'll need to route our wires, starting with the signaling wires and then the main. The main will have to get plugged in right away. Will make this whole installation vastly easier than trying to plug it in after everything's already in. Once you hear a little click from the main plug, you can move forward to aligning the tongue in here and these bosses inside your rubber grommets. Once we have alignment here, this is good to be screwed in, and we'll grab one of the washers and one of the screws from the taillight kit, along with a number 1 or number 2 Phillips screwdriver. and that will be screwed in into the bosses that protrude through the grommets at this point. I will leave it a little bit loose for now and get the other screw threaded in. I'll tighten them after both screws are in. Now you notice that you are screwing a steel screw into a plastic boss. So obviously you don't want to over tighten anything. These screws are actually called plastite screws. They form their own threads, and they're designed in a way where the friction of the thread that was just cut in the plastic against the thread of the screw will keep the screw inside without any chance of vibrating out. So that is good to go without over tightening. We can now route these signal wires to the back compartment here. We'll find the signal plugs on the harness. So to do that, I like to use a spring puller. This can be done by hand, just a little bit more cumbersome. I use a exhaust spring puller just because seems to be the perfect tool for the job. All right. Now some of you guys will not be using the signaling function on this taillight. You will have external signals. They will already be connected in here. Some of you guys will probably be using the OEM signals that are still in here. So at this point you would just tie these guys off somewhere out of the way and you'd be good to go with having just your running and brake light function out of the taillight. For those of you guys that are actually using the signal functions in this taillight, at this point we have to figure out which plug goes into which harness plug. So I'll power up the bike, turn on, say, right signal, let it blink. Just experiment with which one makes which of the taillight wires makes the right side blink. And I got it on the first try by chance, so obviously the other one is left. Test both sides and they look good. So I'm going to power down the bike and then just take care of getting these wires out of the way. Now we can just leave them that way. That's a little bit messy. So what I recommend is grabbing a zip tie and tying that off for a nice professional installation. I'll do that right now. All right, just tuck it back away and this is good to go. All right, so a couple of things I want to mention at this point since the installation is pretty much complete. When you replace your OEM signals with any LED type signals, you will notice that your flash rate increases vastly. So we include a set of load balancing resistors at no charge with each one of these kits. And you could wire that into your signaling system. It'll increase the amount of current that your signaling system draws and restore your flash rate. The other solution is you can purchase one of these Gen 2 flasher relays. We actually have one installed on this bike from a previous installation. We have that video. You can look it up on our YouTube page or through our website. This is a plug and play component, no wiring necessary. You just replace the OEM with this one. It's as simple as unplugging the OEM unit and plugging this one back in and replacing it. Let's keep her here. It's that simple. It's a very cost-effective way to not have to wire anything in and have a nice professional installation. The other thing I want to mention is that on this particular bike, we already had the fender and thus the OEM signaling system eliminated. So you didn't see us remove any of that. If you guys need any help with that process, You can check that out in our fender eliminator video. We have 2 different fender eliminators that we supply for this bike, and we have videos for the installation of each one of those systems. So at this point, I want to say that the installation is complete and the bike is pretty much ready to go. We just need to replace the seat and add driver. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and consider subscribing to our channel. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, please place them below in the comment feed. And that's pretty much it. We're done with this video. See you next time.